And hello once again, this is Ted Hicks from Late Night Parents, ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. Thanking our listeners in the U.S., U.K., Canada, and I did a couple of searches, Rich.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Someone in Ireland is listening to us?
Someone in Ireland is listening to us, and I don't know if they're a Conor McGregor fan.
Well, if they are, sorry. Good fight, though. Good fight. Definitely
Good fight.
put up a good fight. It went as I gave it one of two options, and it went my second option.
Got you. Want to give a big shout out to one of our newest affiliates. I want to get this right. Drum roll, please. Calibre Radio, originating from Anderson, South Carolina. Big shout out to Antoine Turman, who handles business down in Anderson, South Carolina. I guess it's closer to Georgia than actual Columbia.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
it's one of those towns passing through on the way to see the in-laws.
Yes.
Well, shout out to Calibre Radio.
Yep. Rich, happy that you are here. Guess what? No show script, no nothing. We're just winging it.
We're just winging it?
So
you see I'm sitting here looking for
yes.
So did he send something? No, he
Nope.
didn't. That's okay.
Happy to have you here. Dr. Michele is going to be out for the next 2 weeks, heading to NAACP.
You know, we'll be able to say, we remember when.
Yes.
And just hope she remembers the little people.
We just hope she remembers the little people. She's heading to Florida, and I believe she was in D.C. I'm not sure if it was a speaking engagement this weekend, but I know next weekend she's in for a speaking engagement. NAACP, empowerment, in Hollywood, Florida.
Nice. Well, good for you, Dr. Michele. We are so proud of you.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Yes, we are. Kind of different show tonight. You know, usually we're talking with entrepreneurs, and we're talking with people that, there's some type of subject matter.
Yep.
Decided to make the show kind of fun tonight.
Okay.
I mean, not to say the other shows aren't fun, but they're more informational.
Okay.
So tonight, we get to talk about a topic that you know everything about, and I know nothing about. So it's like normal. It's like being at work, where you know everything.
Not.
I know nothing, and I'm just sitting back like, well, all right, sounds good, But tonight, in the next 10 minutes, 6 minutes,
okay,
Jessie Nuez, from the Wired family, is joining us to talk about Game of Thrones. Season 7 finale predictions.
There's so many predictions we can make on this. The way this is going, the way this show is shaping up, so many theories, so many little hints they've been dropping, so much they have packed in the last couple of episodes. For those of us who have been watching for the last, things which would go over everyone else's head. And so much that still goes over your head that you have to see it 2 or 3 times and looking for, all the analysis and be like, oh, they did do that. And I didn't even notice that. So much of that going on.
So this is going to be open discussion with her at 15 minutes past the hour.
Okay.
And then at 30 minutes past the hour, guess what? Mm-hmm. The good buddy Marc Lewis from the DMV is going to be joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about this botched Celtics-Cavaliers trade that's kind of like just dangling out there.
Yeah, what's up with that? Again, you know me, I'm not the sports guy, but I've seen enough news and seen enough comments that, all right, what is going on here? Just tell me, is LeBron leaving the Cavaliers?
I think he's leaving regardless.
Wow.
So all of the stuff that they're doing.
Okay.
But we'll get into that at 30 minutes past the hour.
Okay. I got one little quick shout out.
Sure.
I was watching TV the other night, and there was something going on. I believe it was uptown Manhattan. It was a benefit for the young lady who had been bullied and had the boiling water poured on him.
Okay.
And looking at the station, I forget what news channel it was, but a person that has been a guest on our show got a quick little 2 or 3 seconds worth of speaking time on the news. One of the Dow twins.
Get out of here.
I forget the young man's name. I am so sorry. I should have looked it up. I just thought about this. But yes, they interviewed him very briefly. You know, he said some very nice things about the young lady and why he was there. And I'm sure his sister would have been there as well to support the young lady who had been bullied. So a little shout out to the Dow twins out there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes, it was. I was in there. I know that little kid. My wife's like, how do you know him? We interviewed him about 6 months ago. Him and his sister.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot going on this week. I guess both of us are here, so I guess it's easy for us to say that neither one of us won that Powerball.
It wasn't me. Just that. Well, it was just one woman, I believe it was, with a couple of kids.
Yes.
753 million was that? I mean, sure, the tax man cometh and take halfeth, but still walk away with well over $300 million.
Right.
That's good.
I will say this much to you. Are you the type of person, lump sum, all in a lump sum, or 30-year payments?
I'm more the lump sum kind of guy.
Okay.
Because I think, you know what, just give it to me. You know, I would, you know, you have to get an advisor and let them tell you what they think the best play is. Because I believe when you do the payments, you can still, you know, will it to families so that the funds which you want still get to go to the family and friends, or whoever it is that you decide should get it. But I think I'd be lump sum here. Take your taxes. Don't come to me again about them. Let me invest my money. Let me do with it what I will, and let me do my best to turn that $350 million into $1 billion.
Okay. I would go the opposite route.
Okay.
I kind of thinking about the long game and thinking about the Bobby Bonilla deal. You know, I would want to be, 75 years old, like, oh, this is my last check.
Yes, that's true. Okay.
And just enjoying life.
Yeah, but see, with that kind of money, all you have to do is make some of the right investments. All right, let's fantasize here for a couple of moments.
Okay.
Let's say it's $350,
mm-hmm.
and you blow. And it's actually kind of hard to do, but I'm going to put a huge number out there. You blow 50. Okay, $50 million here.
I blow $50 million.
That's kind of hard to do when you start thinking about it. It's kind of hard to blow $50 million.
Okay,
but you blow $50 million. You have $300 million left here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have just the right investments, you can live off interest and investment payments alone and live well on $300 million investments.
That's true.
So you don't have your long game. You don't have to worry about this is my last check. It's just checks coming and you're not even touching the principal.
That's true. I would, when you're talking about blowing $50 million.
Go ahead, go for it.
I'm going to tell you, I would become a minority owner of the New York Islanders. I would.
How much does that cost you?
That might cost me $20 to $25 million, okay. And then the remaining 20 to 25 is going to Queens, Flushing, City Field. I will become a minority owner of the Mets.
But see, that's not even blowing $50 million.
No, that's not blowing.
Investment,
right?
So that doesn't count in the 50 you blew.
Well,
okay. So but you want to count it there? Okay,
I would rather count it there because
all
blowing it, it's. I kind of imagine winning the lottery.
Yep.
But purchasing a ticket in a state where I don't have to identify myself.
I don't think they'll allow that. I think on the back of that ticket, it says, if you win this, we're going to paste your face and name everywhere.
Everywhere. And that's where I would get, I don't even like Facebook.
But see, it's okay. It's like, you know what, world? Yes, I won. Look at me now. You're never going to see me again.
No, I'm with you. It's just because I would have no problem living in the same house.
You say that now. No, you'd move.
Driving the same car.
No, you wouldn't. Well, no, you know what? You might.
Showing up here on weekends and bothering Brian and the rest of the crew.
You would definitely do that. but I think there would be a renaming of the studio.
There would be a renaming of the studio.
Yeah, so okay.
And we would have videographers
we'd have
covering us.
We'd have paid videographers.
Yes.
Instead of doing double duty.
But I'm talking about from the time you leave your house.
Oh,
just following you.
There's a drone overhead the entire time.
Yes.
Okay.
And we wind up on Viceland or something like that.
Gotcha. All right.
And we maybe buy Viceland.
But hey, so that's another investment.
But with that, got a lot to cover here. I believe in the queue is our good friend Jessie Nuez, a family tech expert, publisher of The Wired Family, tech blogger for Babel Editors. She talks tech tips and everything else with us.
All the time.
TheWiredFamily.squarespace.com. And she's here to join us to primarily talk with you, Rich, because I've only watched 4 episodes of Game of Thrones. So we want to welcome Jessie Nuez. How are you doing, Jessie?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Doing
Pretty good.
great, Jessie. Glad to speak with you.
Likewise. It's awesome to be back on the show.
It is good to have you back.
All right. So I guess I will decrease and allow you two guys to nerd out and talk about Game of Thrones. But I'm telling you, I'm at episode 4 of season 1.
For shame.
Season 1.
For shame.
And not hard to watch.
I understand. I remember way back when, and when I first started watching it, the first season. Actually, I didn't even start watching it as it aired in the first season. I heard so much about it halfway in. I was like, let me check this out. So
I did the same.
Yeah, and the first couple of episodes, it was like, okay, what is going on here?
Right.
It totally was, totally, completely. So I understand what you're saying. And if it's not the type of genre that you would normally watch, that would make it even harder for you to get into.
Yes.
But you're at that point, 5th, 6th, 7th episode when it really starts to kick in, right? Am I right, Jessie?
Yeah, that's commitment. That right there, you're committed. After like episode 5 or 6, you're committed.
Got you.
And yet, has anyone died yet? Ted?
No.
Okay. Once it happens.
No, not yet.
See, Jessie, that's what I'm thinking. Wasn't that episode 4? Maybe it was 5.
Wait,
so maybe
when did Robert Baratheon die? Was it like 5 or 6?
See, you're giving things away. You're giving Ted spoilers.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
But that's what I was thinking, too.
Before we came on this show, man.
Oh, my goodness. So season 7 is tonight. I mean, the series season finale is tonight.
Yes.
What are some predictions that you guys have? I mean, it's okay to spoil it for me because I'm totally clueless. I tried to watch a couple of episodes and I was like, what's happening?
Listen, there is I actually started watching season 1.
Okay.
And there's so much of season 1 that ties into season 7.
Yep.
Especially the first, I want to say 7 episodes, because we learned so much.
Oh, Jessie, I think we're losing
on the road at season 7. But apparently tonight's episode is titled The Wolf and the Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And a lot of, in the, Twitterverse, people are saying that it's Daenerys and Jon Snow, or it's Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, which are Jon Snow's parents.
Right.
But I think this episode is about Jon Snow, because he is both a dragon and a wolf.
Yes.
And I think we find out, or he finds out, what we already know.
Now, and I'm going to go halfway along with you on that because it does make sense.
You're going to humor me?
No, I'm going farther than that. I believe I agree with you because the one thing, and I'm jumping around here a little bit, but the one gripe I have with, I'm going to say just like the last 3 episodes, maybe.
Okay.
They seem to have, it's almost like the writers realized, oh crap, we've got less than 10 episodes here.
Yeah.
And we've got to start really winding things down and tying things together here so that it makes a little bit of sense.
Yes, but they have been.
Yeah.
Like I said, I started watching season 1 because I wanted to see what Ted is seeing now.
Right.
And so much of it makes sense, right? So season 1, episode 4. I don't remember too much of episode 4, but that's where Uncle Benjen and Jon Snow goes to be part of the Night's Watch. There's one of the episodes. I don't remember if it's episode. It might not have happened yet, where Daenerys is married to Drogo. Right, and the brother, who's a royal pain, wants his gold crown.
Yes.
And he gets, the gold crown. And once he, dies on the floor, she says he wasn't a real dragon because dragons don't burn.
Right.
A couple of episodes into, I want to say maybe episode 7 or 8-ish, Jon Snow is part of the Night's Watch. And he is the steward to the Lord Commander. And in that episode, you see one of those undead in the Lord Commander's room. Jon Snow takes a lantern, and throws it. His hand doesn't burn.
Oh, good catch.
I know. It took me a few, but it a lot of it comes full circle. But I will say, I have a lot going on here from watching season 1. She has 3 dragons, right? She has one dragon named after her husband, and she has the other 2 named after her brothers.
Yes.
The one that died was named after Viserys, which is the brother with the gold crown.
The brother, right. The one that's alive is named after Rhaegar,
which is Jon Snow's father, and I think we find out that is his dragon.
I'm going along with that completely. Because now here's where I was saying I had gripes, and some of this is related to some of the things you were just mentioning. The whole Samwell Tarly, now last of his name, though he doesn't know that yet.
Oh, Samuel, yes.
Going to the Maesters and attempting to become a Maester and hitting the library and hitting the books. I'm sorry, but with Gilly, I forget her name, but with Gilly, I think it is, sitting there just happened to be reading through and oh wait, what's an annulment? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, wait, these people got married, and he just blows off and, typically does a mansplaining thing to her like she didn't even say anything. And, by the way, he's looking at another book, and, wow, look, there's a whole bunch of dragon glass right under all too convenient. And just the fact that they wrote him off and said, all right, well, he can leave now. We're done with that storyline. And now he's gone. He's left the tower and is going to, hopefully, he's going to go, and there'll be a conversation, and he's going to remember, oh wait, what did Gilly say? John, wait, is that your father? That's your mother. Wait, you're not a bastard child. You're really the king, blah blah blah. I think that's how Jon Snow learns, through Samwell.
Probably, but I also think, and I agree with the frustration that it seems like they're trying to play catch up in a sense because there's so few episodes left.
Yep.
But I'm thinking this whole, first of all, Varys, the eunuch.
Yes.
I feel like he has played a huge role in this whole thing, and I think he holds the key.
I would agree.
He is part of what's her name? Miss Andry, the witch woman.
Yeah, the Red Witch. Not Miss Andry. That's the other one.
He's part. Oh yeah, that's right. He is part of that crew.
Yes.
And in season 1, after Ned Stark was captured, he was helping Ned Stark.
Yep, he was.
And when he was with Daenerys before they moved back to her kingdom, I guess, one of the Red Witches came to visit him and said, "Do you remember that promise you made," or something like that. So I think that is also going to come into fruition. So I think he plays a huge role. And then there's Littlefinger.
Oh, Littlefinger.
Littlefinger, I think, is gonna get fingered by Arya.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't sound right, but he is gonna get his by. I think Arya knows that he betrayed her father, and he's probably on her list, and we don't know that he's on her list.
But she has orated that list so many times over the last couple of seasons. For her to have just for some reason not voiced his name when she's called out everyone else would be kind of suspect.
Well, no. But remember, she was with the faceless men.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe she learned, because she learned to be like Littlefinger and the eunuch and just being there without being there and listening.
Yes.
Right? So she might have picked up, because she's not a fan of Littlefinger when Sansa told her that he was there. Right?
Not at all.
So, and she has been following him. He's been following her. I'm thinking it's all on purpose. Right? I'm thinking that she's making him believe that she's at odds with Sansa because that's what he wants.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially, a lot of people thought that when Sansa sent Brienne away, that she was falling into Littlefinger's trap, and I think it's the exact opposite.
I agree.
I think she was doing that because she knows that if it came down to it, it would tear Brienne apart to have to pick. Even if Brienne wasn't aware of the games being played, and it looked like Sansa and Arya were at odds with each other. To the point of violence. Yeah. Right. Brienne would have to choose one or the other. I think Sansa sent her away so that, stuff's going to go down. I don't want you to have to be here to make a choice here when it's not the right time.
Exactly. And she knows how Arya fights.
Yes.
So it's like, you know what? She has my back. At the end of the day, she's still my sister.
Right.
And she's gonna come through. And because of the paths that they've each taken, I think that it's going to lead them to getting back at Littlefinger, because Littlefinger told Sansa, "You have to think ahead," right? So I think this is her thinking ahead, but at the same time finding out about her little sister's, faceless journey. For however many seasons she was the girl, with no name.
Yep.
So I think a lot of it will play into that, but I think Littlefinger may not survive, because I think the truth, someone else has to know that he betrayed Ned Stark.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
But now,
so
who do we have left to call him out on that? We have Viserys, the
eunuch,
for sure.
Right? The eunuch was there. I don't think anyone else was alive when he betrayed him. I think everyone else, for the most part, in King's Landing died. That was.
Well, Littlefinger. What if? And this is just pure hypotheticals. But what if in a call out to try to save his life, Littlefinger calls him out and says, "Well, you betrayed Ned Stark."
Yeah.
And then they say, "Yeah, we already knew that," and they take his head off.
Pretty much, because that's how they do, right?
Yep.
But I have a question. Why Jorah, right?
Yeah.
The eunuch was using Jorah as a spy.
Right.
And then in that episode where she almost gets poisoned, right? I don't know where they end up. I'm going back to season 1 here. She almost gets poisoned, and then he comes to her rescue. And someone hands him a note saying, "You've been pardoned." What did he do?
I don't remember, but it was something against the family, because remember in one of the conversations, it was either last episode or the episode before last, when who was it that met Jorah's father?
Jon Snow, because he was the Lord Commander.
Yes, and he had that conversation with him, and he mentioned Jorah, and Jorah's father said he betrayed the family.
But I wonder what that betrayal. Yeah, but we never really find out what that betrayal is. I don't think. But I wonder, how did the eunuch seek him out to then become a spy? Because it seems like that's the connection, right? That they find these people that are somewhat lost to be a part of something bigger.
Or they can hold something over their head and force them into it.
Oh, that's true. Well, and there's that, right?
So
and
what? So. I've been looking at this, trying to figure out, all right, what, for lack of a better word, what duels, what people are we getting set up to see go head-to-head against each other? So we've got Sansa going up against the Queen. To me, that almost seems obvious.
Yes.
We've got...
Who's completely lost her mind, by the way, but yes. Or Jaime. Jaime could also take her out.
See, I think that's how it ends up being. I think Jaime ends up taking her out, but the initial head up is against Sansa.
Yes.
Right now, it's shaping up to be an Arya versus Littlefinger.
Yes.
All right, we know that it's Jon Snow and crew versus the White Walkers for now, against the King White Walker, whatever we want to call him. You know,
yeah,
unless,
the king of javelins.
yeah, and what that was a good move, and we're going to go back to that in a second. So here's one which I was thinking about, and I just saw something recently pop up, but they are setting us up for this as well. Sander versus Gregor, the battle of the Cleganes, the Hound versus the Mountain. That fight's going to happen. Yes. That's got to happen.
That's right. Yes. And I didn't know they were brothers until I rewatched season 1.
Ah, yes, and that's a big one. I think, and if you had to make me a betting man, I think the Hound wins, but he dies. Because
I agree.
Let's face it, hasn't been the nicest of people ever, and
no, never.
Not that there's ever been a morality thing going on in this. Anyone can die or anyone can live, no matter how bad they are. But they've kind of played up that the Hound has a better side. Now, I won't even say a good side, but a better side.
He did become a bit human with Arya for a little bit when they were out in the forest or wherever they were together. But then, no, I completely agree. The Hound may his days may be numbered, but also the faceless man,
right? They could pop up anywhere, or anyone else could end up being a faceless person, and I forget that character's name. Maybe he pops up too. But
the thing is that they are assassins. They are like a huge crew too,
right? And that never really gets played up. Besides the storyline that we had for Arya there. But
I'm thinking. Right? Here's my thinking, that if Littlefinger, let's just say that Littlefinger, coward becomes like, Greyjoy and becomes a coward and runs away with the Knights of the Vale. Right. I wonder if Arya will call upon the faceless men to fight.
Okay, that would be interesting.
Because remember, she had a coin. Remember, he gave her a coin.
She's got the coin, but didn't she use that to get into Bravos?
She did, but now that she defeated the waif, right? So she defeated that girl. So I wonder if her status, if she's upped her status, and she doesn't need a coin, she can just
call him up.
Maybe.
I think we could sit here and talk about this for another hour and a half before the show airs.
It's an 80-minute episode.
Yes, it is. And as will be all the episodes in 2019. I hate they have to say it like that.
It's crazy.
But, Jessie, we can go on with this, and I will be looking, especially for your commentary, after the show comes on this evening. Because I will be right there with you. And I know we're going to be in for a bunch of treats, plenty of surprises, and
because we don't even talk about, not to cut you off, we don't even talk about Gendry, Baratheon's bastard child.
Yes.
That's a whole... yes, I agree. This is going to be insane, to say the least. And Ted, you have a lot of catching up to do.
I have
if you want to be a part
much.
of this conversation.
Yeah, that's true. And I hope that this conversation has kind of spurred you on, Ted, to, get out there and start watching.
Yes, it has.
Jessie, always a pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
As usual, we always ask, what are the best ways for our listeners to get in contact with you?
I am on Twitter at Jessie Nuez, and that's the best way to reach me. And I am at thewiredfamily.com and blogging and posting. Awesome. So that is the best way to reach out to me.
Again, Jessie, thank you so much. And the last thing I have to say is looking out for the lovers, Tormund and Brienne.
Yes. Oh, my goodness, yes. Some red-headed beast children.
Exactly. Yes. 10 feet tall, red-headed, yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you, Jessie.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
We have a special guest coming up right now, Rich, as I know you're doing some of the videography in here. We had a blog post on Late Night Parents, I believe last month.
Which one?
The new index identifies the hottest athlete brands under 25.
Oh, I remember this.
Yes. The director of brand strategy, Jessie Ghiorzi, from his group, which is Charge, is live right now on the phone. Jessie, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you guys?
Doing well, Jessie. Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Outside of the fact that Jessie is a Red Sox fan, Rich, but it's okay because Rich Rich has his Mets attire on, and I usually wear my Mets attire.
Yes.
So Jessie, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you getting me through.
Nah, no problem. So there was a lot to cover here. What we were talking about a few months ago on the index that you guys put out on the hottest athlete brands under 25, and of course, who's number one? Odell Beckham Jr.
Hot fantasy pick as well as a scorching brand, no doubt. We looked at 22 sports and somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 athletes overall, all under the age of 25, and these were the he led that list of 250, and obviously then led the top 25 of people that we looked at. What we wanted to do was try to remove some of the subjectivity from when you hear, oh, this athlete is great from a marketing perspective, or this guy's got a hot brand, or this athlete is the face of football, baseball, hockey, whatever. We try to remove as much subjectivity from that as possible and dig into some numbers. And OBJ moved to the top.
Of course. But I have to go, because Rich pointed out, your number 4 option, Lonzo Ball. Is that because of the dad?
Right.
Who was self-promoting? Or, I mean, don't get me wrong, Lonzo Ball in a summer league this year was a stud. But how did he rate? Was it more from his dad? Was it more from the fact that we knew he was going to the Lakers? I mean, how did you come about that as your number 4 pick?
Yeah, although he did have a great summer league after that first game that was a little bit shaky, he definitely rebounded. But what we did again there was taking out all of the on-court stuff, because I don't know which is stronger. If a home run is worth 30 summer league points, or is a hockey championship worth as much as a NASCAR win? I mean, it's all very, very challenging to get some of that on field and measuring which is more on court, on ice, etc. So we pulled out all of the competition pieces, and it's just kind of 3 main measures: social media, not just the audience that these people have, but also the engagement. Are people following them? Are they active on there when they post things? Are people talking and listening and responding and liking and favoriting these things? Search was another big component, and especially because of his dad, that probably helped push some of those numbers where people are searching, okay, who is this Lonzo Ball guy?
Right.
Let me find out about the shoes. Where's he getting drafted? So that definitely helped out there. And then the third element that we looked for was traditional media coverage. They're hot on social. People are searching to find out more about them, but they did break through into websites, newspapers, radio shows, television stations breaking through, talking about them. And so, Lonzo, especially for one of the handful of guys on this list that had no actual professional experience yet by the time we released it, but had been drafted, he definitely rose to the top on a lot of those numbers on all 3 of those: social, search, and media.
So if I can wrap that up into a little bit of a bite. So the list that you've put together is based more upon, we'll say, social status and engagement versus performance in whatever sport it may be.
For sure, yes. Social, traditional media, and search, Googling basically, and a few different things, not just all-time searches, but also trending, who's hot right now, or people searching for this athlete or this person more now than they were 6 months ago, more than they were a year ago, to see who's hot now. But yeah, we had no on-court, on-field performance because it was just too difficult to try to figure out a comparison between one sport and another, which was, again, if a home run was more than a 30-point game, how do you decide that? I don't know.
Right. Now, did you also take into consideration the geographic zones and areas these people were in? Certain markets, I would think would just tend to generate more social media activity and newsworthy activity, things like that, which you're tracking, versus other areas. Was that taken into consideration as well?
Really good question. Not specific, or not directly. Like we didn't add in, if you're from a big market like New York, LA, Chicago, did you get extra points? But I'm sure some of that stuff happened naturally, right? People in New York are going to search more for Kristaps Porzingis. New York's a much bigger city, whereas another young player like Miles Turner, who plays in Indianapolis, where I live and where I'm based, but he's not going to generate quite as much interest because he's playing for a more mid-market team compared to the Knicks, Lakers, Bulls, Mavericks, Heat kind of a team. So we didn't directly incorporate location, but it was definitely factored into the search results and into our metrics indirectly because, again, there's going to be some more interest in some of those big market athletes.
Jessie, tell us some other things that your group Charge is working on in, going forward for the fall and/or winter.
Yeah, for sure. We're debating on when we're going to release the next version of this 25 index. If we may release a winter version of it to see how things change from summer to winter. But other than that, we're busy fulfilling things for our clients. We're a full-service marketing agency that focuses in sports, and the reason we released this was really an answer to some of the questions that our clients have, and which athletes should we endorse, which athletes have the hottest brands that are going to be important and relevant to millennials and even younger generations now, but also in the future. But yeah, we're definitely busy now. Our team this weekend, Honda and Honda Racing is one of the clients we represent. So a few guys in our team were in St. Louis at Gateway Motorsports Park for the IndyCar race. We also work heavily with NASCAR, so we'll be working on helping develop and promote some of the brands of some of the young drivers there. Guys like Kyle Larson, guys like Ryan Blaney, Ty Dillon, Chase Elliott, and a few of those other young guns in NASCAR. So that's what we'll be focusing on here in the fall.
Gotcha. Jessie, we want to thank you for joining us. I know it's very brief, but definitely want to get you back on again. Fall time, when the next time the list is available and we can dig deep into it. Jessie, tell us the best ways to follow you and your company, Charge.
Hey, thanks for having us on, guys. If you want to find out more about the list, charge25under25.com, and that'll also point you to our agency's website to find out some more. Thanks again for having me on, and obviously I have to drop a Go Yankees.
All right.
You got it.
Thanks for joining us. It was great talking with you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take care. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, special guest. It's always good. You guys, like I said, we're totally nerding out with Game of Thrones.
You had to throw some sports back in there?
Yeah, I just had to throw a little bit.
It's all right.
And it was, it's only apropos that our final segment on Late Night Parents, you can catch us latenightparents.com for the latest blogs and podcasts. If you're not listening to the live show right now, yeah. Wanted to give people just some time to.
Oh, you're giving them a chance to type.
Giving them a chance to type in,
Okay.
Hey, what's that again?
That was a pause for effect.
That was a pregnant pause. So in the queue, we have good buddy of mine, 25, 30 years, Marc Lewis, who's in the DMV area, who joined us a couple of months ago. He's going to join us throughout the football season as we check in and talk about some of our favorite teams. But Marc is primarily here to talk about the aftermath of Mayweather-McGregor and, also the real boxing match coming up in 3 weeks, Triple G and Canelo. Marc, how you doing?
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you? How's everyone doing there?
Doing well, Marc. Doing well.
Doing well. We won't mess around, Marc. There was something that happened last night. Pay-per-view, third-party services were going down. Everyone was trying to buy the fight. Over 5 million buys to something that reminded me of Rocky versus Hulk Hogan in Rocky 3.
The entire fight seemed that way to you, or just the last 4 rounds or so?
Yeah, it was kind of, it was kind of expected, but I will hand this over, Rich, to you and to Mark. Mark, what was your thoughts on last night's Mayweather-McGregor? I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to say a prize fight. Exhibition?
Money fight.
The first thing I wanted to call it was a prize fight, but WWE light, maybe.
Okay.
Without all of the wrestling and grappling hoes and Gene Okerlund and Vince McMahon on the side. Instead, it was, it was funny. I was in Williamsburg, Virginia last night, and Williamsburg is a relatively small town, and when I tell you that every Hooters, Buffalo Wild Wings, any kind of sports bar was packed to capacity at 7:30 p.m. for this, and I would imagine it's pretty much across the rest of the country, but I got to tell you, I'm glad I watched it on the YouTube free feed. That wasn't, $100 American.
Right.
It's. I think for most Mayweather fans, it kind of went as almost designed. Even the only surprise was the TKO. I don't think most fans, Mayweather fans, true boxing fans, thought Mayweather would end the fight with any kind of TKO, KO, or anything premature before going the distance. So that was a little. I mean, if that was a little wrinkle in their staged performance last night, then that was a little cherry on top. But the most important thing to remember about last night is $130 million split between the two, and plus the whoever gets the gate, whatever the split that goes, and that's pretty much it.
Right, and that's the end of it. Yeah,
I think we're on the track. I think we're back on the right track for real boxing in a couple of weeks.
Okay,
and, the spectacle is the circus has come to town, and now Ringling Brothers will pack up all of their elephants and throw them back on the train, and we'll get on with real boxing in a couple of weeks.
See, here's how I thought it. I was giving it basically two options for last night. I was thinking, because if I understand correctly, McGregor had a boxing background early on in his career, very early on. And of course, he went to MMA, so he had a little bit of boxing knowledge. I'm not even going to go as far out to say boxing skill, but I'll say boxing knowledge. So of course, he's been MMA. He's used to the 3 5-minute rounds. And it's 5 brutal minutes. That's a lot of energy expended there. Full out, full blown, and then it's over and done with. We know that he could take a punch. Those guys are used to getting hit and hit hard. On the flip side, we know Mayweather is fast. He's taking a punch. He can take a punch. He's a boxer. He's gonna, it's gonna happen. He's used to it. My thoughts were, it's either McGregor gets the lucky knockout before the 5th round, or I was figuring it would be maybe 9 or 10 that McGregor fully runs out of steam, and Mayweather I never thought Mayweather would get a real full knockout. That was off the table. He just doesn't have that power against someone who's used to getting hit by real, much lighter gloves and everything else. TKO wasn't a total shock, though. It kind of made a little bit of sense to me going in. But was this a show more than anything else? I'd agree with that too. Entertainment for sure.
Oh yeah, and I agree. I think I agree just about with everything you mentioned. Mayweather style. I'm more of a, I think folks my age, my contemporaries, are more boxing or have been true boxing fans more so and longer than obviously UFC. MMA fans, because it's been around longer. But I'm not that much of an MMA UFC guy. I know all the the top names, so I know more about Mayweather in terms of his style and how he starts out, kind of just starting slow in fights, right, and not really he's kind of feeling the other fighter out. I thought it was interesting how he was the and they made mention of it last night, how he turned the aggressor, about staged or otherwise, how he turned, he was kind of walking McGregor down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, it did make sense. McGregor's used to fighting, 5 rounds, 25 minutes, 5 minutes a round. But once you start to, eat some of those body blows that Mayweather is pretty accurate in throwing, after the 5th, 6th round, it was pretty clear that he was about, McGregor was about to tire. So although I was a little surprised with the TKO, I wasn't surprised that McGregor started catching wind, in the latter rounds. I wasn't surprised that Mayweather was, didn't really get rocked or hurt by McGregor.
Right.
But all in all, it wasn't a bad performance from Mayweather. I think it's pretty spot on in terms of how his style and his formula is. So I don't really get too wowed at Mayweather. He is who he is. He's not spectacular. Obviously, when you start talking about the welterweights of the 80s, the Sugar Ray, the Marvin Hagler,
right,
Thomas Hearns, and the willingness to fight each other, then, that's something different. So Mayweather is who he is. He's the greatest boxer of this particular era. And he went up against a good MMA fighter and outlasted him, and end of story. So, let's pull the curtains on it.
Yeah, it's over. It's done. It's a wrap. He's got his 50-0. They both walk out with serious paychecks, and the world can move on now.
I'm just glad that he didn't after the 50-0, after the microphone was in Mayweather's in his face, that he didn't pull a Larry Holmes quote about Rocky Marciano. I think that was what I was happiest for. And oh, by the way, I don't know if anyone saw the replays when Mayweather was on top of McGregor at the very end of the fight.
Yes.
I have to say, the referee, he might have put on the greatest performance.
He did.
Of all three of them last night, because he was a little slow on the draw on some of the breaks. He didn't penalize McGregor for constantly holding him by his back, which Mayweather kind of ducked into. And then the last thing was, he pulled Mayweather off so hard, kind of gave him a jab at the end. I was like, wow, that's the punch of the fight. So yeah, that's my take on it. I'm ready to move on from it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Hey, quick question. I'm not going to put you on the spot because we're running up against the close of the show. I won't ask you Cavs Celtics, this debacle of a trade. But I will ask you this past week, Yankees, Tigers, the brawl.
Oh, yeah.
And Miggy, I've always been a big fan for Miggy. But in your eyes, the punishment that was given out, proper, a little bit off base? What's your take on it?
I think I agree with you. Miggy has been, Miggy's one of the, he's one of the best batters that we have, pure hitters in the game right now. He's been in the league a while. He's one of the veterans. If they're going to give Miggy that many games, I think they need to give, the catcher, Austin Romine, probably just as many, if not more. I know Miggy kind of, initialized it with the first, pushback, but we clearly have something now in play that is called instant replay, where I'm sure the front office takes advantage of before they just, unilaterally start throwing out suspensions. It was easy to see Gary Sanchez, just in the background.
Wilding.
And then I personally didn't see the Aaron Judge deal that Miggy, that Cabrera was talking about. But I think, if you're going to give Miggy that many games, you're going to give Cabrera that many games, you got to give Romine, and you got to add something. You got to do Gary Sanchez a little bit better, a little bit more than that. First off, he didn't really, he was just kind of clearing space. 7 games, that's kind of tough. Romine should get 7 games at a minimum.
Right.
I think, because they were equally kind of responsible for it in my eyes. It was a weird fight. That was one of the weirdest fights I've ever seen. with guys trying to pot shot Miggy, and yeah, that was just weird as could be.
Gotcha. Marc, we want to thank you for joining us for this quick hit. I know you're going to be here during the football season and just sports in general to just drop in, provide your insight, because you actually know what you're talking about, unlike a lot of these guys that are on TV that are being paid for it.
I appreciate that. I take after my my big brother up there in the studio. So
You got it. You got it. As always, Marc, thanks for joining us, and we will talk in the future.
Okay, guys.
Take care, Marc. Thanks again.
Be good.
You too. That was good. Good conversation there.
Yeah. Good conversation. Did a little bit of Game of Thrones, a little social media, and then talked a little bit of sports.
Variety.
Yeah, variety. Variety show. You know, you never know what you're going to get.
With no script.
With no script. I kind of like these shows with no script.
I have to admit, I kind of like them too. Like a little outline is good.
Yeah, a little outline is good, but not too much where you're just like, okay, now I'm going to ask this scripted question on the fourth day of, no. But, yeah, so other than that, hey, so what's shaking with you this week? Anything good going on?
This upcoming week, no, this hopefully will be a quiet week. We do have a holiday coming up shortly.
Yes, sir.
I mean, for us, summer is already over.
Yes.
All of the students have returned to the school. Shout out New York Law School. So we've been at the normal full-time grind for a couple of weeks already. But no, I've got nothing major planned for this week upcoming. I do need to, even though it's like 2 days later, the big special shout out. I have a number.
Okay.
The number is 27.
The number is 27.
Yes, the number is 27.
Okay.
That is the number of years I was married on as of Friday, August 25th. Yes, I'm putting a date out there. I'm sorry, but I got to do it.
You get the golf clap. You get
Thank
the
you,
golf
Brian.
clap.
Thank you, Brian.
Congratulations.
Yes,
You
Linda
and
put up
Linda.
with me for 27 years.
Wow.
So
fantastic.
It's been nice. It's been good. So
Fantastic.
shout out to the wife.
Yes. Good move. Good move by her.
Yeah, good move by her.
Good move by her. Best ways to get in contact with you, Rich?
You know me, embracing the brand. Twitter, Late Night Rich.
And I am the real Ted Hicks. Catch you guys next week.
Have a good week, everyone. Take care.